Nice.
How do you make 10 grand on a wholesale deal within 8 hours?
Yeah.
That's the question. You know how you do it? You're gonna need a great buyer's list. That's the topic of the Wholesale Daily Show today. It's Fix and Flip Friday, but we're gonna dive into how to build your buyer's list and why that is so important. You hear people often bragging about their triumphs of making 5, 10, 15, 20 grand in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. How do they do that? The way they do it is they have a buyer's list of pre-qualified people who have raised their hand and said, yes, I want a great deal. Then they message 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 of them at once, and there's going to be somebody in that list that's going to buy. So my name is Dustin.
I'm Josh. I'm Corey.
We're the Modern REI Wholesale Daily Show, bringing you 5 days a week, wholesaling, tax liens and deeds, real estate, the ups and downs, and you get to follow us on our journey as we try to do $1 million in wholesale and fix and flip profits this year. Very important for the YouTubers. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It's recently been alerted to us that 70% of the people watching these videos, you're not subscribed.
And that hurts.
That hurts.
Yeah.
And it means you're missing out on the golden nuggets that are as shiny as the core of the sun. Podcasters, thanks for listening. And let's dive into this stuff. So the buyer's list, what is it? Why do you need it? When you're starting out, doesn't matter how good of it, well, when you're starting out, it's almost in reverse to approach it this way. But if you're listening to this and you haven't done a deal yet, one of the most effective things you can do at first is build a buyer's list, because there's no worse feeling than getting a deal, getting a property under contract, and then having nobody to alert and nobody to sell the property to. So that is very important. There's a lot of ways out there to build your buyer's list, and one of the ones that I think we should probably debunk is the old ghost ad.
Yeah.
You know, that one is that's an old school tactic that, to be frank, we don't feel that congruent about.
No, it hasn't even worked well for us in the markets that we were in.
We tried it.
It
didn't work.
Just gets people pissed off.
Yeah. So what is a ghost ad? A lot of folks will say, a lot of the old school guys are going to be like, post a ghost ad. That's how they talk.
Yeah.
And there's lots of grunting.
Yeah.
Lots of grunting. And what is a ghost ad? So a ghost ad is pretty straightforward. It's where you create an imaginary house of 2524 East McMillan Road, and you list it at a screaming deal, right? So if properties on old East McMillan Road are selling for $150, you're going to go ahead and you're going to list your property, your imaginary property, for $77,000. And you're going to hope for the phone to ring. I think there was a time and a place where this was effective, because you'd post this on like Craigslist or whatever home selling channels were available. And there was a time when it was good, but now Craigslist, these sites are just full of like so much crap. We've tried it back in the day, and it just wasn't that powerful for us, because so many people are on Craigslist just trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Spam it, man.
We were on there trying to spam it.
We tried it for a while. We tried it. You know, we thought, hey, let's give this an angle. Give this angle a dangle.
Yeah.
And the angle of your dangle is key if you want to go fishing or build a buyer's list. Fishing for the buyer's list, right? So we kind of evolved past that. And here's one of the best ways to build a buyer's list. It's very simple. You can just go on Zillow and pick an area where you're targeting properties, maybe with your mailers or your cold calling. Go to that area and look at recently sold properties, and then just start calling up real estate agents and saying, hey, I understand you sold this property at 254 rapid run, and sometimes your thoughts just escape your head. They're coming back. So
Okay.
I understand you sold this property, and you say to them, look, I'm a real estate investor, or if you're a new investor, just own it and say, hey, I'm getting into real estate. I'm going to be looking for some deals in this area that are deeply discounted below market value. Would perhaps in the future you or any of your buyers be interested in deals like that? And they're going to say yes. So from there, you're going to make connections with real estate agents because they're easy to talk to. You can get them on the phone, and that's where you're going to start, okay? And from there, we'll spread it around a bit, but from there, build a spreadsheet, get 50 of them, call 50, and then add them to some sort of perhaps email autoresponder, or even just your Gmail is better than nothing. But don't add more than, I think it's 100.
Like to
spamming?
blast
Yeah.
out, yeah. I'd keep it at like you can even do 25 at a time just to be safe.
Yeah,
If that's
send
15.
25 at a time. So that works really good. So that's option 1 for building your buyers list. Corey, what's option 2?
Option 2. One thing that I would say for option 2 is even on sites like Zillow and these, they have lots of like sponsored posts where you can see what the real estate agents are, even in the city that you're in. Well, actually, that's kind of what you were saying. So just to tack that on, but also something like the Yellow Pages or the Better Business Bureau or White Pages, sites like that. Even just typing in real estate agent, or you can type in wholesaler, or you can type in investor, and just see what pops up. We did that with real estate agents and also mortgage brokers, and you're looking at hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands in your city. So then if you have a superstar virtual assistant, then that can be helpful. They can pull that information for you into a spreadsheet, and you can call them from the spreadsheet. But if not, you can just manually pop that data into a spreadsheet, or use someone on Fiverr to do that, and then you can call them and see if they're interested, and just say what Dustin just said about, hey, I'm in the area looking to invest, or I'm an investor and looking for cash buyers. Do you know anybody who would be interested? And then they'll either say, yeah, me, or yeah, I know someone. I think that would be another one.
Yeah, another thing, the old obvious here, is to search the local real estate meetups, the RIA groups, any types of real estate meetups, and go and network your fanny off, is the correct term there.
Yeah, definitely.
Fanny networking, getting out there. And that's pretty straightforward as well. Like, you literally just go around and say, hey, I'm getting into real estate. I'm going to have some deals coming up. Do you have a business card? Introduce yourself. Take people to lunch if you can. Busy folks aren't going to... You want to take people who are kind of like up-and-comers out for lunch, because they'll be really open to it. It'll be rare that like big players will just be open to lunch because they're busy and they got crap to do. Yeah. And you get to a point as well where just enough people have asked you out to lunch, you say, sure, it's $5,000.
Yeah.
And so that it's going to be a good lunch. And if you're an introvert, well, my number one tip for you is to just YouTube how to not be an introvert, and then go out and just work that muscle, because unfortunately you are going to need to get out there and socialize. If you have a business partner who's maybe a little more outgoing and they're happy perhaps handling the networking part, then that could help too. So one of the things we also do is, obviously, part of our buyers, this is kind of like you're laying one brick at a time, right? Because then once you have that first property, you can go to the buyers list, you can go out to your contacts, and then when you have the property under contract, you'll really get serious about it as well. So for now, one of the things, like, we do lots of properties. I think we're currently, how many properties in inventory right now?
We've got a couple out of rehab. We've got one that closed today. We've got 4 closing this month, and we've got 3 closing next month, and then we've got 7 probably coming out of rehab. So whatever that is added up.
Big numbers.
I didn't write down the board.
I didn't write that down either.
Monday we'll do an update.
Monday we'll do a big update. So there's not too many pieces to this, and it can be very frustrating. But you really just have to go one step at a time, take it one day at a time, and move forward with it. Listen to things like this podcast, this daily show. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and watch this stuff daily so it becomes a part of your daily language. And just no matter how many times you've heard it, like for example, people that do martial arts, or Corey plays guitar, Josh plays drums and guitar. Corey actually does too.
Nah, I'm not as good as Josh.
Yeah.
Drums. Josh slays it on drums.
It's true. Corey is good at guitar with lots of natural talent. Because I have a guitar that just doesn't work the same. When Corey plays my guitar, it doesn't do that when I play it. But for example, in martial arts, like I do a lot of jiu-jitsu, and every morning we start off the class the same way. We do a warm-up to get us ready for sparring and training, and it's all the fundamental moves. Like there's these things called like a break fall, where you hit the ground and break your fall so you don't break a bone. There's these things called like a bridge or a hip escape. All of this sort of stuff. And we do simple like jumping jacks and push-ups. And to be honest, sometimes it's just so boring doing this same repetitive thing, but you need it to prepare you for when you're actually going in and training so that you don't get hurt. And a lot of those movements are the foundation of everything. And if I were to bring you to like a class and show you some of the fundamentals of jiu-jitsu, you would be learning these basic moves that even a 20-year black belt is going to be starting off the same class with. So that's why it's so important to listen to these podcasts, to just kind of immerse yourself in the education around this so that it's just part of your common language. Most of the folks watching are new, but we also have people who are seasoned veterans watching this sort of stuff, and you're probably thinking, oh, this is, basic 101. And I listen to so much stuff that is still so basic for me, but then every now and then there's like a little tidbit. I'm like, oh, that's new. I haven't heard that before, and then I just incorporate it. Like it doesn't end. I remember when I was a kid, I think I was like 12 years old, and I saw this guy on TV, and he was just like, he was jacked, right? And I knew you had to like work out to get muscles. And then my aunt said something very interesting, and I still remember it. She said, Dustin, you realize that if you work out and get those muscles, you have to keep working out to maintain them. Mm-hmm, and in my head, I wanted to start working out just to look like that and then stop.
Yeah.
And that was one big deterrent.
That's the dream, man.
That's the dream, right? So for you guys, listening to this stuff and the basics and sticking with it, it's fairly simple. Like wholesaling, real estate, tax liens and deeds is the easiest business, hands down, to get into. It just really is. You can do this stuff purely on math. It's not rocket science, but you have to stick with it. And if you just give yourself a couple years, you're going to be doing great. But most people, you're going to get to the point, or not you specifically, but most people are going to have a challenge. They're going to go and look on the internet and then get distracted into something else. Like, oh, yeah, I was on the internet, I had a problem, and then next thing you know, you're going down the route of commercial real estate investing. Then it's exciting, right? Because the first 80% of anything new is fun, because that's where you get those rapid rush of learning. But then when you actually have to implement it, you get a challenge, you go to the internet, and then, oh, Bitcoin's taken off. So you should probably take that Bitcoin course. Yeah. And then all of a sudden Bitcoin's not working, back to the internet, and then you find about penny stocks. And then down the rabbit hole, penny stocks.
Is that a thing?
And then, and then that gets hard. So then from there you learn how to short stocks, and people just never get anywhere. So if you're serious about this, give yourself a couple years, 2 years, 3 years, and ask yourself the question, is it worth it to dedicate a couple years to be able to figure this out? And The answer is no. No, I'm kidding. It's definitely worth it. Josh, any quick tips on buyers lists?
Yeah, I just go to places that cash buyers are going to be. Those are the kind of people you're going to want on your list. Foreclosure auctions is a great place. Go network there. Just hang out where they hang out. REI groups like Dustin suggested. And any kind of time there's a real estate convention, make sure you get there as well. Hand out lots of business cards. Be friendly, social. That's all I would say about finding cash buyers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, guys. It's been a great week. This is episode number 26. Next week, we're going to crack into the 30s.
Yep.
If you're listening to the podcast, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Hopefully both hands are on the wheel. And when you're at that red light, take a moment, leave a comment or a review.
Don't do that at the red light, please.
Or when you pull over. Maybe you pull over right now and do it. That'd be great.
Yeah.
YouTubers, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be doing some giveaways, some contests, a lot of really fun stuff coming. And as you know, we do a live in-field tax deed auction training trip where we actually take you by the hand and show you how to buy property discounted at auctions. A lot of the attendees actually buy real estate on the trips and make money. It's the only kind of training that exists where you can do that. And we're going to buy too. So we bring you with us and show you how to do it. So if you're interested in that, go ahead, just comment below, auction. We can send you more details. Podcasters, just go ahead and visit taxliencertificateschool.com and we can hook you up. That said, we will see you in episode 27.